Low key, I've been kind of struggling on trying to figure out, how to draw, how to get from where I am right now to where I want to be, right? With all these amazing illustrators that I see online. And I wish that I could be making more progress, but at the same time, I don't really know what's right, you know? And there could be like a lot of reasons for why I'm not making progress. But one kind of idea I've been going into is, overwhelm, right? Overwhelm, anxiety, and the fear of failure. I know how, these things often interfere with things we want to get better at. So I started a Discord server, right? And pretty much what we're doing is posting like some kind of art every single day. If you want to join us, it's in the description. But right, as I go through this, I've noticed that, sometimes it gets hard to, get yourself to draw because most of the time you don't really know what to do. You know that you want to eventually get to a full, or at least want to eventually get to a full rendered illustration, but figuring out, what to do to get there can be kind of confusing. And like many other people, I can be kind of lazy, and it doesn't feel good to put in effort to, get minimal results. So what this ends up turning into is, a fear of failure, a fear of not making progress, and scrolling through social media to try to figure out the best way to, and we spend like hours upon hours trying to figure out, you know, just watching videos to see what everyone else does, right? So now I kind of have like 50 videos lined up, and at the same time, I watched through a good, 20 or so, but, my art's still the same, right? Nothing's really changed. Nothing's really resonated to the point where I'm like, this makes perfect sense. I know how to do this. I can see how I will improve. And then I stumbled upon a video about jealousy, right? A common trait that artists often have. We often compare ourselves to the final result of artists who have put in a lot more hours than we have. It'll either give you an overwhelming feeling of, is there any way that I can get to their level? I don't see a path. Or you might end up, coping and saying like, the world is unfair. How come they get to be that good? And this video, which is about Blue Lock, by the way, it kind of gave me a realization that no matter how many methods that I learn, if I don't do the one that's best for me, then I'm actually losing more than if I do like the hypothetical best method, right? In the video, they were talking about, weapons in soccer, your specialty, the thing that you're good at, your talent. And these talents range from, speed to power to like the accuracy of the shot. And these are the things that they are good at and can naturally improve at. But when they look at someone who's better than them, at usually a different thing, right? When their power is like speed, but they lose to someone who has a big body, sometimes that can lead to jealousy and make you want to, have their power, right? You'd be like, me being fast doesn't actually help me fight this guy. I wish I was as big as him. What that leads to is you building the body to become more powerful, but because you're so bulky, you start losing your speed, right? Your natural talent. And because you weren't like talented, you weren't like blessed with the genes of a good body and a powerful body, you're kind of weak in both sides and you become a worse player overall, right? So even if something works with someone else, you have to try it for yourself. That's kind of what I'm getting at. So I kind of thought about that for a bit, looking at all the methods that I saw. One with like doing drills over and over, another with, spaced repetition kind of thing. That's more suited for, like school students. But, what have I been doing my entire life? I've been playing video games, but you're still learning in video games. It just has a kind of different method to it. And since I know how to improve at video games, what if I try to, apply my talent for playing video games into art? And that's when it kind of clicked, right? The easiest way to explain how I learn video games is by playing the game, simply enough. In a more modern term, it's called trial by fire, which sounds like cool as hell. But unlike school, where you can just like learn a subject and just, do a quiz and apply it, video games, you're often put into random situations. And, you have to understand like the game and like the goal and the mechanics to make fast decisions, without even thinking. And you also have a mechanical part of it, which you'll need to build the muscle memory for. And I'm like, holy shit, like a lot of the things that I get from video games can be applied to art, right? I just need to play the game. But for some reason, there's one small difference that makes it easy for me to learn video games versus everything else in life. And it's that it's super easy to take action in video games, right? You push a single button and you're cued into a game. But if you want to like talk to a girl that you like, right? There's a lot more biological, resistance to that, especially when you've built up fears about how people think of you and their reaction to, your poor performance. And somehow that applies to art, right? There's a fear that's, I know is not only for myself, but we have expectations of ourselves, and we know that other people often have expectations or that we feel that way. And we fear that if we don't meet the expectations, that we're going to be in pain, we're going to feel outcasted, and we're going to be made fun of. So when I see my drawing on my paper and don't think that it looks good, sometimes I feel like ashamed of it. I won't want to try again. And I'll often get like a resistance to trying again. And if I'm not able to try again, then how am I supposed to play the game, right? If you can't play the game, then you can't improve, at least for my way of learning. So I realize this, right? What are some things that I might be resisting? I know that I often like to draw a lot of faces, often just the eyes, nose, mouth, and the jawline, right? I'll never complete like a full drawing. And this might get like a little confusing, so I apologize. I'm kind of just like speaking from my mind. But what's the difference between my ability to draw hair versus my ability to draw faces? For both of them, I can kind of see when it looks wrong, right? I can notice at least beginner level things that, something's a little off, and maybe sometimes I can't tell what it is. But with faces, yes, I can tell that something's wrong, but I can also like try to figure out, which specific part looks weird. How does the face compare to like a real face? Why does this face look different from this one? And that's not something I can do with hair because I have such little practice in hair. I have such a little understanding of hair. And although I do have a little resistance to drawing faces, I have a lot more for drawing hair. I have a lot more resistance for drawing hair. But if I don't get myself to draw hair, the body, color, lighting, how am I supposed to get to the level that I want to with full illustrations, with complex, light sources? How am I supposed to play the entire game when I only have like the W and D key and like one mouse button, right? I'm not giving myself the opportunity to practice every part of the game just because I'm scared of failing. I thought for a second, right? What if I just try everything at once, right? What if I just try every skill that it takes to, build an illustration? And how do you do that? Try to make an illustration. If I let go of my expectations, if I let go of my ego, if I let go of my fears, what could I create at my skill level? And that's what I've kind of done here. It's a copy drawing, but later today I'm going to be trying to, try to use references, right? Because I did the face for this drawing, I did the eyes, nose, mouth, and I did a little coloring, but that was all kind of like in my comfort zone. Besides the coloring, that's kind of scary. That was kind of tough. I had to color pick a little. Then I kind of stopped for the hair, right? I looked up a quick tutorial for, how to understand the hair. And, I just kind of went for it. And it turned out pretty cool. Probably a lot better than what my next drawings are going to be because it's just a copy reference or this is a copy drawing. This is something I'm going to be trying out now. People say, practice your fundamentals, do your gesture drawing. But I'm going to try to do what I know how to do best in hopes of like letting go of the fear, the expectations that I have for myself and drawing. And what I hope is going to happen is how I've been drawing faces for a while, so I can understand how I can improve the faces. So by doing, hair and color and eye details, I can kind of get a sense of intuition of how something is wrong and the next steps I can do to improve it. Because if you know what is wrong and you know how to, you know what to look up, then things become a lot less overwhelming. This whole mystery of, oh, I gotta learn all these different things that I have no idea about becomes, I just gotta learn these 5 things that I can look up and learn. But yeah, this is a kind of a work in progress. I just thought that I'd share that for today because, it's something to get off my chest. And maybe it's something, and maybe it's a mindset that could help someone out there. But yeah, that is it for today. Join my Discord server because I would love to see more people posting in the daily channel. But yeah, that's gonna be all. Take care.